When I saw him, he was no selling it and pushing his beer.
Yeah.
You know, he gets caught on tape, saying some derogatory, racist things.
I gotta stay silent.
It didn't start with a tweet or a press release. It started with silence. The kind of silence that screams louder than any promo. On July 24th, 2025, when Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, the heart of Hulkamania, died of a sudden cardiac arrest at 71, the wrestling world froze. But it was The Undertaker, the dead man himself, who broke that silence with a bombshell that no one saw coming. In a raw, unfiltered episode of his 6 Feet Under podcast, Mark Calloway didn't just mourn the icon who built WWE, he exposed a decades-old betrayal that nearly buried his career and a secret about Hogan's power plays that could rewrite wrestling history. What did The Undertaker know about Hogan's death? And what truth about their past could shake the foundation of WWE's legacy? This is the story of The Undertaker's final reckoning with Hulk Hogan. A tale of loyalty, deception, and a truth that cuts deeper than any tombstone. The Undertaker wasn't supposed to be the one to steal the spotlight. For 30 years, he'd been the Phenom, the silent enforcer of WWE's darkest corners, letting stars like Hogan bask in the neon glow. But when news of Hogan's death hit, his silence became deafening. No immediate press junket, no WWE scripted tribute, just a single post on X that felt like a warning shot. Hulk Hogan was wrestling's heartbeat. His impact is eternal. Rest in peace, Terry. The words were respectful, almost corporate, but fans knew better. The Undertaker didn't speak unless he had something to say. Days later, on 6 Feet Under, he delivered. His voice, a gravelly monument to 3 decades in the ring, cracked with grief and fury as he began. "I've been carrying this for 34 years, he said. "Hogan's gone, and I can't hold it in anymore. The truth about him, about us, about WWE, it's time." The podcast wasn't just a tribute, it was a detonation. Listeners leaned in, sensing a revelation that could unravel the myth of Hulkamania. The Undertaker, the keeper of WWE's secrets, was about to pull back the curtain on the man who made the company and the lie that almost broke him. The bombshell came fast, like a chair shot to the skull. The Undertaker took listeners back to November 1991, Survivor Series in Detroit, where a 24-year-old Mark Calloway faced Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship. It was the match that should have launched him into the stratosphere, his first world title, won clean, over the biggest star in wrestling. But backstage, it became a nightmare. "I hit the tombstone, pinned Hogan, and walked out champion," The Undertaker said, his voice tight. "It was the biggest moment of my life, but then Hogan claimed I'd botched it. Said I'd crushed his neck, that he couldn't move. I was a kid, barely a year in, and I thought I'd just ended my career by hurting the guy who was WWF. The fallout was brutal. Vince McMahon, the architect of WWF's empire, was apoplectic. The locker room buzzed with accusations that The Undertaker was reckless, a green giant who'd endangered the company's golden goose. I was shaking, he recalled. Hogan was untouchable. You hurt him, you were done. I went home thinking I'd never step in a ring again. For years, The Undertaker carried the weight of that moment, believing he'd nearly crippled Hogan. But in 2001, haunted by doubts, he dug up the match tape. What he saw changed everything. His head didn't touch the mat, he said, his voice rising. The tombstone was clean, perfect. There was no injury. He sold it like he was dying, and I bought it. Vince bought it. The whole damn company bought it. The revelation hit like a sledgehammer. Hogan had lied. The Undertaker believes it was a calculated move to protect his spot as WWF's top star and derail a young competitor who threatened his throne. I confronted him in 2002 when he came back, The Undertaker said. I looked him in the eye and asked, "Why'd you do it?" He just mumbled something about heat for the angle and changed the subject. That's when I knew he wasn't protecting the business, he was protecting himself. This wasn't just a personal betrayal. It was a glimpse into the cutthroat politics of WWF's golden era, where Hogan's influence was absolute. The Undertaker's story suggested that Hogan used his power to manipulate narratives, ensuring no one could eclipse him. That lie almost broke me, he said. It taught me the business isn't about trust. It's about survival. The Undertaker's revelation set the stage, but his tribute wasn't just about settling scores. He painted a complex picture of Hogan, a man whose charisma built an empire, but whose actions left scars. "I can't take away what he did," The Undertaker said. "Hogan made wrestling what it is. WrestleMania, the global stage, the mainstream buzz, that's all him. Without Hulkamania, there's no Phenom, no Attitude Era, no nothing." He recalled their 2002 clash at Judgment Day in Nashville, where Hogan, nearing 50, returned to challenge for the WWE Undisputed Championship. "The crowd was electric," The Undertaker said. "He was older, slower, but when Real American hit, it was 1987 all over again. That's the magic he had. Even I felt it, and I didn't trust him an inch." The match wasn't a classic, but it proved Hogan's ability to command an audience, a skill The Undertaker grudgingly admired. Behind the scenes, their relationship was a tightrope. The Undertaker shared a rare story from a 1992 Japan tour when he was scraping by financially. "Hogan didn't have to care," he said, "but one night he handed me an envelope with cash and said, 'Get yourself right, kid. No spotlight, no agenda.' It threw me off, especially after '91. This act of kindness clashed with the betrayal, leaving The Undertaker torn between resentment and respect. He also revealed a lesser-known incident from 1993 when Hogan quietly pushed for The Undertaker to get a bigger role at WrestleMania 9. "He didn't have to do that," The Undertaker said. "He was on his way out to WCW, but he told Vince I deserved a spotlight. I didn't know until years later. That's the thing about Hogan. He could lift you up or bury you, depending on the day." The Undertaker's tribute dug deeper, exposing Hogan's unmatched influence over WWE's direction. "He wasn't just a star, he was the machine," he said. "Vince built the company around him, and Hogan knew it. He could walk into a meeting and change everything with a word." The Undertaker recounted a 1990 creative meeting where Hogan vetoed a storyline that would have paired him with a heel Undertaker. He said it had hurt his image, The Undertaker recalled. "Vince rewrote the whole card that night. That's the kind of power he had." This control extended beyond the ring. The Undertaker hinted at a hushed-up incident from 1989 when Hogan allegedly influenced the WWF's decision to sideline a major star to avoid competition. "I won't name names," he said, "but it wasn't about the story, it was about keeping the belt on him. That's how it worked back then." These revelations painted Hogan as both a visionary and a gatekeeper, a man who shaped WWE's rise but ensured it revolved around him. Yet, The Undertaker couldn't deny Hogan's connection with fans. "I saw him with kids backstage, Make-A-Wish, charity events," he said. "He'd stay for hours, signing every autograph, posing for every picture. It wasn't fake. Those kids saw a hero, and he gave them one." This humanity contrasted with the political schemer, creating a paradox that defined Hogan's legacy. The Undertaker didn't shy away from Hogan's darker moments, particularly the 2015 racist comment scandal that led to his temporary WWE ban. "He messed up big time," he said, "but I've been in this business long enough to know nobody's clean. We've all said things we regret. What I saw was a guy who loved his fans and gave them everything. That's what I hold on to." His willingness to contextualize Hogan's mistakes showed a veteran's perspective, separating the man from his worst moments. He also addressed rumors about Hogan's health in the months before his death. "I heard from Jimmy Hart a week before," The Undertaker said. "He sounded fine, said Terry was good. Then this. It's a gut punch." The suddenness of Hogan's passing amplified the shock, making The Undertaker's revelations feel like a final confession, a way to close a chapter left open too long. As the podcast neared its end, The Undertaker's voice softened, reflecting on their last encounter at a 2019 WWE event. "We didn't talk much, just a nod, a handshake," he said. "I thought we'd get a beer someday, maybe sort out the past. Now that's gone." The regret was raw, a reminder of time's cruelty. "Don't wait to say what needs saying," he told his listeners. Life doesn't give you encores. The episode, titled "The Truth About Hogan," exploded online, racking up 3 million YouTube views in 48 hours. Fans flooded X with reactions, some reeling from the Survivor Series revelation, others debating Hogan's legacy. Wrestling forums lit up with threads dissecting The Undertaker's claims and speculating about other backstage power plays. The podcast became a cultural moment, redefining how fans saw Hulkamania and its architect. The Undertaker's revelations about 1991 and Hogan's influence exposed the gritty reality behind WWE's golden era. But they also celebrated the man who made it possible. Hogan was the spark, The Undertaker said. No him, no WrestleMania, no global WWE. He was the blueprint. Flawed, but undeniable. His tribute was a paradox, a condemnation of Hogan's politics, and a salute to his impact, a story of betrayal and reluctant admiration. The Undertaker's perspective, forged through decades in WWE's trenches, carried unmatched weight. He'd seen the company evolve from smoky arenas to billion-dollar stadiums, and Hogan was at the heart of that transformation. He wasn't a saint, he concluded, but he was the Hulkster. That meant something. It always will. In death, Hulk Hogan remained larger than life, a titan whose triumphs and flaws shaped an industry. The Undertaker's words didn't just bury a hatchet, they carved a new chapter in wrestling's history, one that demands we see the man behind the myth. For more stories that rip the curtain off wrestling's soul, click on the cards on your screen.